There are Americans coming over here being nasty, doing nasty things, and being bad to the locals. Now let me flip the fucking script.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Prime Reactions. So today we are talking about a very sensitive but important topic. A lot of Black Americans, Jamaicans, and people from Caribbean have been moving to Africa, hoping to reconnect with their roots, build a better life, and finally feel at home. But for many people, the experience has not been what they expected. Some people say they were overcharged, treated unfairly, scammed, or made to feel like outsiders instead of family. Others say Africa is still beautiful, but people need to stop coming with unrealistic expectations. So in today's video, we are going to break down both sides of the conversation, talk about the culture, shock, corruption, scams, immigration struggles, and why people are now leaving Africa after moving there. So stay with me until the end. Remember, if you're coming across any of my videos for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. So let's dive into this video.
Okay, let's talk about the fact that we get abused over here too. The thing about Ghana is stop crying victim. Stop crying victim, because y'all cheat us out of a lot of stuff. Y'all invited us to come home, which by the thousands we did. We came running to Ghana. People sold their homes, moved out of their apartments, sold everything. Some people packed up containers and moved over here just to get over here and realize this is not our home. Y'all call us foreigners. Ghanaians call us that. We didn't make that word up. We didn't start calling ourselves that. We don't know that that's what y'all call the white people and the Chinese because we're not around them. But we know that that's what y'all call us. I ain't never heard the word before, Tabi, till I came to Ghana. Okay. Y'all invite us home. Let's talk about what y'all do to us. Starting from the fucking before we get to the airport, we got to have a visa that we pay for to even enter our home. We pay all this money for passports and visas to get here. We get to the airport, and as soon as you see a fucking blue passport, everybody's coming for us. Can you give me something small at the COVID place? You get to immigration. Can you give me something small? You get to baggage. Can you give me something small? A person grabbed a damn cart and put my bag on it and got mad because I gave him $5 because I only had hundreds, because you come over here with hundreds to get the best, cash in rate. How about he looked at that and said, I don't want that. I said, what you mean you don't want it? I said, I want to know, what did you expect me to give you? He said $10. I said, so you want me to give you over 100 CDs for picking up a bag, putting it in a cart? He don't know this is like my 5th time coming through the airport. I have never seen nowhere in any country or state where people have openly, it says $60 for foreigners, $30 for locals, okay? You go to Cocoon Park, and I don't remember the price. Let's say $200 for foreigners, because that's what y'all call us, $40 for locals. You go to the castle, it's $60 for foreigners, $10 for locals. I ain't never seen that nowhere. I ain't never went nowhere in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada where it said you pay, if you a local, if you're from here, you pay $3 for a Coca-Cola, but if you're a foreigner, you pay $8 for a Coca-Cola. I ain't never seen that nowhere except Ghana. Nobody in the airport has ever asked me for no money for nothing. I have only seen that in Ghana. Now let's talk about the fact that y'all welcomed us home and how this process looks to me. According to y'all, the ones of us that were stolen, so let's talk about the process of coming home. We got stolen from our mother, our birth mother and father. 20 years later, we're probably 26 years old now. Our mother finds us and she said, baby, y'all come home. I miss you. Come back home. Get out them streets where they don't love you at and come home. So we drive, take a taxi, however we get to our mother's address. We get there. But before she let us come to the door, she says, oh, welcome home. But before you come in, can you pay me $300 to enter the door? That's the visa to come home. So, okay, we happy to be home. So we paid $300 to our mother to step foot in her house because we're excited to be home to the motherland, okay? We get in there, and now it's dinner time. And she has plates on the table for the kids that grew up in the house. And she has a plate on the table for me and my sister who was stolen years ago. And she says, oh, my daughters, because you didn't grow up here, My children get to eat free that grew up here, but because you were stolen and you're just coming back, I have to charge you $20 for a plate. So me and my sister, we're so happy to be home. We're confused. We pay her $20 for a plate. Okay. That's the cocoon shit. That's y'all giving us different prices for shit. Okay. Now we're at our mother's house and we're enjoying being there. We see something's a little weird, but we enjoy being back home with our mother. We decide we want to stay. And she goes, oh, you want to stay a little longer? You're going to have to pay me $1,000 every year to stay here. That's the residency. Now we're paying her for residency, even though she invited us home after we were stolen from her. Okay. Now we pay the residency, and then we decide, you know what? We want to get on the birth certificate. We kind of like it here. It's a little weird, but we comfortable enough to stay here. And she tells us, oh, in order for you to stay here, I have to put my name on your birth certificate. That's going to be $3,000 each, please. And then I will put your name on the birth certificate and you will become a family member. That's the citizenship. That's the citizenship. So how are we home if we got to pay y'all? Why aren't the visas free? If this is home, why don't you make this visa free for us? If this is home, why do we have to pay to be a resident? If this is home, why isn't our citizenship automatically given to us?
Reason I left Tanzania. Okay, so the number one reason why I left Tanzania is because I was getting scammed numerous times. Was I scammed? So I left Tanzania and I've been back in the US for almost 2 months. And for me, it was the best decision that I could have ever made for my future and for my son's future. I was on Facebook and I saw that someone posted a picture of them holding up 500 T-shillings. It seemed like they were trying to say that's how much you would have to pay. You would only have to pay 500 T-shillings to fill up your car, which is, I think they said, less than 50 cents. The situation for me this time was a visa issue. And I'll go into that in another video. I just feel like it's so much to tell and I need to give the details of that. However, that situation was rectified for me, but at the last minute after I decided that I was leaving to go home. And there is, someone there in Tanzania that I believe would be great for diasporans to, to help them make sure that they get their visas and all the paperwork that they need, and to just, not get scammed, and someone that's trustworthy. As far as I am concerned, I did what was right for me and what was best for me. It didn't matter what anyone had to say to me.
The first thing that I didn't like is the immigration process. When I went to Tanzania, I already imprinted it in my brain that you're allowed to, from the research that I've done, that you're allowed to have 3 months there and then get extensions, which is a 30-day extension. It's supposed to be 2 30-day extensions for free. But once I got to the immigration, they had us wait there for 5 hours after telling us they could give us that time period, and we only got 2 weeks. After waiting 5 hours, we got a 2-week extension. So I had to maneuver myself from there, and it was just not pretty for me. I left the immigration office like literally in tears, because I was just like, it's just this, I pick up on vibrations and energy, and it's just like the immigration people just felt like they don't want me here. For whatever reason, whatever judgment they had of me, I don't think they want us as expats there. And that's just the honest truth, you guys. Like, they were laughing at me while I was crying. Like, it was just not funny. Maybe it was just the immigration officers that I dealt with, but it was just like, oh, okay, yeah. So that was like one of the first negative experiences for me there. But yeah, I thought I could, stay there a little bit longer just to feel it out. Now, let me tell you guys, I never, ever, ever had I had no expectations with coming to Africa. Like I told you guys, I had plans to move to Ghana. They changed their rules. I don't like how their president moves. So I decided to come over to go to Tanzania. Yeah, the immigration, like to have to leave every 3 months. I know this before going to Tanzania because it's everywhere, it's listed everywhere. But what I didn't take into was the expense that it would be to travel from country to country. I thought maybe it would be a little bit cheaper, but clearly it was. I just never fit in, and I've been me all my life. This is me, and I'm always changing and growing, but who I am at the core, I can't change. So if I can't vibe with the culture and I feel judged by the culture half the time, it's just not gonna work long term for me. So that's one of the bigger reasons why I left too. Most of the expats were couples or males. So I met a guy, he was there from Europe. He had a business in Europe, but he lived in Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? You know, come to find out, like, he was like bragging about how, you know, he can get certain favors from a girl in the community for little to nothing. And I don't mean sexual favors, but he was just bragging. And that's what he kind of like hinted at, but I didn't want to assume. But, you know, like, I think guys sometimes come to exploit the, white and black guys come there to exploit the community if, you know, they know like they can get a lot for little to nothing, you know, from whether it's company, sex, whatever, like they know this. So they go there to sometimes exploit. So being that I met some cool expats that were males too. That right there was like a big, I don't fit, you know, but I want to connect with like-minded people, and I also want to connect with the African culture and the African people, but because there was that language barrier, I couldn't connect with any of the Tanzanian people, and I'm sure that stopped me from meeting a bunch of good people, but I couldn't connect. So this was like a thing for me that I was just like, dang, you know, like it sucks. This is a bummer. It took a lot of effort coming to Africa, but I was just like, I just don't see myself happy here. I'm not happy. So I didn't know, like in my mind, I'm like, once I didn't feel welcome, I'm like, when can I escape? You know, because if you don't feel connected with the people, it's just like, what in the world am I doing here? Like, you know, I vibe with a few Tanzanian people, the ones who spoke English, and I didn't vibe with any diasporans, actually, not for long. So, you know, that's just what it is.
There's so many African Americans leaving Africa right now. You know, I think when people migrate to the continent or they leave abroad, as we're seeing in record numbers, more than ever before, I'm not sure if it's new or if social media is giving us these viewpoints, but you come to countries where you find the quality of life so much better, but the cost of living a lot less than what you're used to, and you overextend. You purchase a house or you get an apartment in the most luxurious part of the country. You're dining out every day, multiple times a day. You've got a driver, you know, you're doing all of these things. And while these things can still be relatively affordable, what I see for the most part is people just doing the most, like getting the most luxurious car, the most luxurious home, the most luxurious furnishings, and essentially they can't afford to not do the work that they were doing in the US to now sustain the life that they've created on the continent. And so, you know, when I first arrived to the continent, I wouldn't say made those mistakes. I have lived, had money, lost money, had money, lost it. So I knew how to live pretty frugally. But I do recommend that when you do migrate, that you enjoy that experience for the short term. And that's like 30 days, you know, celebrate yourself. Have fantastic dinners out, stay at a hotel, stay in a fabulous Airbnb. But if this is something that you want to do long term, you need to get yourself on a budget and be financially responsible so that you don't overextend yourself, so that you don't end up having to go back to a country that you so direly want to get out of.
So welcome back. After watching all these clips, I think one thing is very clear. A lot of people from the diaspora are emotionally connected to Africa before they even arrive there. Now, many Black Americans and Jamaicans grow up hearing that Africa is the motherland. So When they finally get the chance to visit countries like Ghana, Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa, they expect to feel an instant connection. But the reality on the ground can be very different. Some people arrive expecting to be welcomed like long lost family members, but instead they are treated like tourists or foreigners. That can become emotionally painful because in their minds they are coming home. But in reality, the local system still see them as visitors with foreign passports. Now I understand why some people become frustrated. Now imagine selling your house, leaving your country, spending thousands of dollars to relocate, and then everywhere you go, people are asking you for extra money. At airports, immigration offices, taxi stations, tourist sites, and even normal daily activities. So some people feel targeted because they look or sound foreign. And to be honest, this does happen in some places. If somebody hears an American accent or sees a foreign passport, they may automatically think that that person has a lot of money. So some workers may try to overcharge, ask for tips, or take advantage. That's not something unique to Africa only. It happens in many countries around the world, especially in tourist areas. But because these visitors expect a family connection, the disappointment feels much, much deeper. Now, at the same time, I also think some people come with unrealistic expectations. Africa is not one country. Every country has its own culture, rules, economy, language, and immigration system. So just because your ancestors came from Africa does not automatically mean the government will treat you like a citizen the moment you arrive. So most African countries still depend heavily on tourism and foreign income. That's why foreigners usually pay higher visa fees, park fees, residency costs, and residency costs. So it's not always personal. It's simply how the system operates financially. But where I think the problem really starts is corruption and poor customer service. When someone comes to Africa excited and hopeful, then they meet rude immigration officers, library scams, or dishonest people. It destroys the experience immediately. Nobody wants to feel unwanted after traveling across the world searching for connection and peace. Now, the woman talking about Tanzania sounded deeply hurt emotionally. You could hear it in her voice. She felt isolated, disconnected, and judged. And honestly, moving to another country is already difficult, even without cultural barriers. Now imagine trying to adjust to a new language, different social rules, and new immigration system, and loneliness at the same time. A lot of people online moving abroad look easy, but the reality is much, much harder. Social media only shows the fancy apartments, beaches, safari trips, luxury restaurants, and exciting moments, but people rarely show the stress, visa issues, loneliness, homesickness, and financial pressure that come with relocation. The other speaker also made a strong point about people overspending after moving to Africa. Some people arrive and immediately try to live a luxury lifestyle because because things look cheaper compared to America or Europe. They rent expensive apartments, hire drivers, eat at expensive restaurants daily, and live way beyond their long term budget. Then, after some months, reality starts hitting them hard. If you don't have a stable income or proper financial planning, eventually the pressure catches up with you. That's why anybody planning to move abroad needs to think long term instead of trying to impress people online. Another important point is culture shock. Some people think because they are black, they will automatically fit in cultural they will automatically fit in culturally everywhere in Africa. But culture is much deeper than skin color. Language, behavior, traditions, religion, humor, communication style, and daily lifestyle all matter. You can look similar to people physically but still feel completely different socially. That can become shocking for many visitors from the diaspora. And then there is another uncomfortable truth that was mentioned in the video. Some foreigners really do come to exploit local communities. Some people move to poor countries because they believe they can live cheaply or take advantage of vulnerable people. That happens with both black and white foreigners. So naturally, some locals become suspicious of outsiders because they've seen bad behavior before. So this issue goes both ways. So not every local person is a scammer, and not every foreigner comes with good intentions either. I think the biggest solution is honesty and preparation. If you want to move to Africa, come with respect, patience, research, and realistic expectation. Don't expect perfection. Don't expect everybody to treat you like family immediately. Build relationships slowly and understand the culture first. And for the African countries, especially governments promoting diaspora return programs, there also needs to be improvement. If you invite people from diaspora to reconnect with Africa, then there should be system in place that protects them from corruption, scams, and unnecessary mistreatment, because at the end of the day, many people truly want to reconnect with their roots, invest, build businesses, and contribute positively. Africa has incredible beauty, opportunities, culture, history, and strong communities, but like every part of the world, it also has a lot of challenges. So instead of attacking each other online, maybe the better conversation is this: how do we create a better understanding between Africans and the diaspora so both sides can connect in a healthier and more honest way? That's the real discussion. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think some people come to Africa with unrealistic expectation? Do you think Africa countries need to do more to welcome people from diaspora properly? I really want to hear your thoughts. So thank you for watching. See you guys on next one.